Now I'm going to be cooking up some stuffed mushrooms. Now you can serve this as a starter or you can have it as part of your main meal. So simple to do and absolutely delish. So give these a go. So for making up these stuffed mushrooms, I'm just going to go through the ingredients I'm going to use. Now I've got 5 large open mushrooms. Now what I'm going to do is just cut the stalk off and I'm going to leave the skin on. So have a look at the skin. If it's a bit dirty, just, you know, wipe it with a paper tissue. Don't try and wash them under water or anything like that. 5 large open mushrooms. Then I've got 175 grams of butter. Now my butter is at room temperature because that makes it easier to mix up with the garlic. You don't want it straight out the fridge because it's just hard work. 80 grams of breadcrumbs. Then I've got some fresh thyme. Now with the thyme, just strip the leaves back. You want to end up with, I would say, about a tablespoon or, you know, a couple of teaspoons of fresh thyme, just the leaves. 4 cloves of garlic. With the garlic cloves, I'm just going to sort of, you know, peel those and I'm going to chop them up nice and fine and we're going to add those in with the butter. 1 egg, which I'm going to beat, salt and pepper seasoning. So there's all the ingredients, nice simple ingredients, but as I say, it all comes together, it looks good and it tastes good. So what I'm going to do is get it all prepared and then we're going to start making up these stuffed mushrooms. So I've got everything prepared, all chopped up, the eggs are beaten, all ready to go. Now what I'm going to do next is to mix up the chopped up garlic with the butter. So I'm going to clear the decks, move it all back, and then we're going to mix it all together. Now incidentally, I did keep the stalks, the little stalks there, just broke them up, got them in a bowl, might as well fry them off, add them in the mix. So I've got myself a slightly bigger bowl, going to put in the chopped up garlic, and then I'm just going to add that butter in there. And almost, you know, very lightly sort of beat them together really, just sort of get it all combined. That's all you're looking to do. So mix that until you've got everything incorporated. That'll do us. Didn't take long. Now next of all, I'm just going to move that aside. I've got myself a baking tray there and I've got a little bit of parchment paper. So what I'm going to do is just pop the mushrooms on there. Like that. That's it. Lovely. Now what I'm going to do is, with roughly about, I'd say 2/3 of the mixture, I'm going to put some of that in the middle of each of those. So just going to get like a spoonful and then we can sort of push it around. Now with the mushrooms, I finished with those 5 mushrooms. You've got the garlicky buttery mixture, so really good base for these stuffed mushrooms. Now what I'm going to do is go over to the hob and with the rest of that garlicky buttery mixture, I'm going to put that in a frying pan, just melt it slightly, and then we're going to add the breadcrumbs and also I've got the leftover bits of stalk. So get a little bit of colour on the breadcrumbs. Once you've done that, we'll come back to the table, put the egg, the thyme, and then you've got a lovely sort of mixture that's going to stuff those mushrooms. So let's go over to the hob, get the frying pan and get that butter melted. You just want to melt that. Now overall you want to do this on a fairly lowish heat, so don't have it too high. So just turn the heat down a little bit. Let the butter melt and then we can add in, you know, the breadcrumbs and also the leftover mushroom stalks. So I'll just leave that to melt. Now that butter just about melted, so that's good enough. Let's get those mushroom stalks in there. Waste not, want not. And also all those breadcrumbs. Give that a good mix. What you want to do is give it a good mix and try and get a little bit of colour on at least the breadcrumbs. So stir it around, mix it, and say if the heat's not quite high enough, just turn it up a little bit, but generally fairly low. You just want to get a little bit of colour on the breadcrumbs. Now I've been cooking those breadcrumbs and that stalk of the mushroom with the buttery garlicky mixture probably 8 or 10 minutes, lowish heat, and oh, it's smelling so good in this kitchen. Now I think it's time to switch this off because I think that's done. Now I'm going to go back over to the table and I'm going to make up the rest of the mixture, the stuffing that is going to go in these mushrooms. So let's take it over to the table. Now I've come over from the hob and I've got me breadcrumbs here. Look at those. Now incidentally, the breadcrumbs I chose to use are these ones called panko. They're like Japanese ones, a little bit more crispy than the normal ones. So use those if you want, or whatever you like. Now I'm just going to pour that mixture in there. Oh, these are lovely and crispy. Oh, and it smells really, really yummy in this kitchen. You know, garlic and the butter. You can't go wrong with that. I've got most of that out. Now what I'm going to do is, to that mixture, I'm going to put in the thyme, the fresh thyme, season it. You do need to season this. Salt. And again, I use freshly ground black pepper. Lovely. Give that a quick mix. Now also, I'm going to pop in the egg in there, so it just helps to kind of slightly bind it together. Just one egg. And there you go. That mixture now is ready to go on top of the mushrooms. But don't forget, the mushrooms have also got the garlic and the butter in there, and we do need to cook it in the oven. Now, I've put my oven on in the background, you can hear it going away. I've got it 180 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is gas mark 4. So I'm going to put this mixture on top of my mushrooms and pop them in the oven. And let's just move that aside. Bring the mushrooms. Yeah, lovely. And then we can just spoon that mixture over the top. And try and do it evenly. So, yeah, lovely. So I'm just going to pop the mushrooms, the stuffed mushrooms, in the oven. Preheated oven, let's say 180 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, gas mark 4. Now really you want to cook those until they've gone golden brown, so keep an eye on them, make sure they're golden brown, and then you can pull them out and serve. Now with the mushrooms, I actually had mine cooking a little bit longer than I thought. I've actually cooked mine for 28 minutes. Now obviously you want to make sure the mushrooms are really nice and tender, got a golden brown colour. Ooh, that looks delish. Now I'm going to take those out. Ooh, let's try some of those. They look scrummy. Now I've just taken the stuffed mushrooms from out the oven, and let's have a, oh look at that. Oh look at that. Now as I say, you can start it, you know, have it as a starter or part of your main meal. I'll have a little bit of this. Lovely. Watercress. The main thing is, make sure you cook your mushrooms with that stuff in long enough, because otherwise it's not going to be tender. Let's try some of this. Oh, that looks absolutely lovely. That really does look good. Let's try some of this. Oh, get these breadcrumbs on there. Oh, let's try that. Do you know, the garlicky, buttery flavour really comes through. And these breadcrumbs, they are nice and crunchy. Oh, they're so delicious. Oh. And the mushroom itself is so tender. That is beautiful. Do you know, whether you have it as a starter or part of your main meal, that is scrummy. It really is scrummy. You know, it's amazing. You can make something so simple and so delicious. Oh. That is so good. So good. Thanks for watching my videos. Don't forget to subscribe, and I do try and read all your comments. Thanks again. I'll see you on the next one, the original Naked Chef.